what's the deal with Jay Mariotti blaming that Freddie Garcia perfect game failure on Ken the Hawk Harrelson?
Well, I don't want to speak ill of a colleague, but I mean, he'll say anything that just to get people excited. That's what he does. And,
right.
The only, if you read him, well, there you go.
Right. But he made John Cass look good today.
He did, and I don't say that lightly. But
yeah, I know you don't like John Cass.
Cass is a genuine fraud. But Jay, the thing with Jay is it's not his work that bothers me; it's his personality. Okay, because he tapes that ESPN thing right almost next to my office, so I have to see him.
You could be on Around the Horn if you just walked over there?
If I walked over there, went like this, right? If I cared to.
Nice.
And he is
People
one
would
of
just think it's Robin Williams. You look like Robin Williams now with the beard.
Don't thank you.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that you just can't get away from fast enough because he's obviously unhappy. I mean, John Cass is unhappy, but Jay Maritti's really unhappy. And if you're doing that,
as opposed to the happy-go-lucky Neil Steinberg.
You know, I'm Holly Golightly compared to these guys. And I got to tell you,
right.
And at least I'm enjoying myself. I talk to people. I've passed Jay Mariotti for 15 years. I don't think he's ever looked in my direction.
Really?
All right, he's like one of those
Well,
guys.
he's very short. Maybe he just can't see up that high.
He is just so filled with self-significance. It's incredible. And you know, did you read Doug Johnson's piece in the Chicago Magazine? Right,
no.
He's comparing Mariotti to Rick Tellender, who's our other columnist, and it's like putting up the Holocaust victim and the Holocaust denier and trying to have like kind of that BS.
Right.
Because you've got Tellender, who's this classy guy, this fabulous writer, okay? And you've got Mariotti, who's this whatever he is.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's so terrible to see poor Tellender, because Tellender's going about his business, writing his column, doing his professional thing, and then Mariotti is going insane next to him. You know, I've sat at a ball game next to the Sun-Times sports editor, and he's on the phone the whole game, and he's talking to Jay, because Jay's going crazy about something, some, placement of the column or something or other.
But Jay's not at the game.
Jay's not, of course, no, he's not at the game. He's,
right.
He's watching it in some secret bunker or something like that. Some of these guys, they can't. It's a job, and you're supposed to enjoy yourself. If you can't enjoy yourself going to sports events, doing this
then
sort of thing,
you shouldn't be doing it.
You shouldn't be doing it, right? And you see the kind of tips he gets in, and it's something where you wonder if he has friends. You wonder if he has family. They'll say, "Hey, Jay, come on, take a break here."
Yeah, especially when Cass did a little research, and Vince Scully talked about Sandy Koufax's perfect game.
Well, I love that. I mean, God bless John Cass. Every 10 columns is a good column, and the one about where he had the thing about Sandy Koufax's perfect game, I enjoyed that. I got to the end of his column.
That was a good one. And Mariotti was blaming Harrelson for jinxing it, which is, of course, for a grown man to blame another grown man of jinxing something seems
that's
highly unless we're in the Dominican Republic, it seems highly unusual.
It's like the man's 5 years old. Okay, you read this stuff, and it's this hyperventilating kind of. I understand. I'm not the right sports guys. To me, sports is the same thing happening over and over again. When I met Michael Jordan, I didn't know who he was. Seriously, and I was about to say, "And you are," and then he was getting dressed, and the bad things at Jordan. I wrote down, "Oh, Jordan." Okay, but so I'm
I'll have to look that up when I get home.
Right, but you have to, at some point, this is entertainment. Okay, to have this sort of, every column of Jay's that I bring myself to read, this is the end of the world. This is the greatest crime, the greatest horror ever, blah, 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 and 300 lines of this
It's
stuff.
just a stupid game.
Yeah, it's just a game.
Yeah.
And at some point, you have to be an adult. And the great thing about Tellender is he's an adult. He has a family.
Right.
Okay? And as a columnist, as a colleague, I can say the guy's a better writer than I am, probably a better dad, better husband, better athlete, better everything. It doesn't take anything away from me. It's the truth.
Right.
Okay? Mariotti would die before he would say that, because he has this horrific competitive thing where he has to be in the paper 7 days a week, and he has to be the top guy, and he has to be this, and he has to be that, and he's just prima donna, and everyone hates him. You can go to the Sun-Times and find nice old Bill, who's the kindest guy. He's been there for 30 years, is bringing around plates of cookies and doesn't have a bad word for anybody. And you mentioned Jay Mariotti, and his face contorts into this look of revulsion, all right, using muscles he's never used before. That's why I never confront Mariotti, because he's his own worst punishment. That's one of those guys, just leave him alone. I would barely wish being him on him.
Right. All right, fair enough. And he works right next to you.
And I could walk
I bet
by.
he talks to you now.
I bet you he doesn't. See, that's the thing. I bet, normally some guy goes on the radio and talks about what an idiot you are. And you go over and go, gosh, I mean, he does the collegial thing. And he'll say, God, when work, he'll complain to my boss and say, I expect more of my support from the paper. And I would think, well, gee, Jay, if we're colleagues, how come you don't say hello?
Start there.
Yeah. So I mean, at some point, people are cut off. At some point, you're kind of like, this person is beyond the pale of humanity. They could be torn apart by wolves in front of me, and I'd be like, oh, look at Jay being torn apart by wolves. Yeah. I guarantee no one would move in the sports department.
Yeah.
Think we should call 911? Nah, there's a wolf. There's still some meat on that.
That's not fair to the wolf, man.
Nah. Yeah.
All right. Well, so what? He must sell papers then. Is that why he's still there?
Who knows? I imagine he does. I mean, you listen to sports, and it's always like, hello, I want to give you my dream team, the sports radio type of stuff, and so I guess those sort of people, it's the Talmud to them. But I can't speak for them. I don't write for them. I don't read them. I don't know. But
I mean, I like sports. I don't like them.
We're not a charity. We don't just put them on to keep them off the street. So I imagine he must sell papers and cause controversy. And
well, didn't he use the Writers Guild to get his job back once a few years ago too?
He went crawling back to the publisher. They had fired him. And then he went to the publisher and got his job back. And it was some sort of mash. He'd been fired a couple times. And I shouldn't... I
don't want to get you in trouble.
I don't want to get personal.
Yeah. Let's just keep it professional like we have so far. I think that's the way to go. I think you're right.
The sad thing, he probably doesn't know who I am. So.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I bet he'll find out.
Although he used the Ann Coulter defense, which I really hated, because he basically said, yeah, I'm rich. I got money. Lots of money. People who don't like me, they get less money.
Yeah.
Which is what Ann Coulter said when she's, people accuse her of being a liar and a monster and all that sort of stuff. And maybe it's because I'm groveling in the dirt with the poor, but that argument
in Northbrook
that doesn't see in Northbrook, But Northbrook's like the slop sink.
But the bad side of Northbrook.
By the tracks. I mean, Northbrook's are the people who can't get into Wilmette and Highland Park and Winnetka and all the really good suburbs. It's sort of the, it's a nice place, but you can see they're kind of we're the plain-bellied Sneetches.
Right. You're like a failed North Shore Jew.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's sad.
It is sad. Yeah. It is sad.
I understand. You carry that around with you.
Our congregation doesn't have a building. We kind of go from building to building. to the church, people go out to their lawn to do something. We run in and have a service, and they run out.
That's
it's sad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right. Well, I like sports, and I like to read the sports section, and I don't like to read him. And I don't even like to read him to get irritated. Because he's so irritating, there's no point in getting yourself that irritated over something.
Well, it insults your intelligence. You want to have things described to you. The rare times I do go into the sports page, I want someone to tell me what's going on, to analyze the situation, to talk about what happened. He doesn't know what happened because he wasn't there.
Right.
Okay? He can't give inside information because he doesn't have any personal relationships with these people.
Right.
Okay? So instead, he can just sort of sit there and attack people, and which I sort of do too, so I shouldn't criticize him. It's...
Well, at least you say hi.
I do say hi
in the hallway and
stuff.
I
say hi in the hallway and that kind of thing.
And you're accountable.
I like to think that counts for something.
I think it counts for a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what else? That's it. We're done.
Well, I mean, I'm
running the train.
I know you always have a train to catch, and I don't even know how you're going to get there.
This is nice and early, though. I got plenty of time now, so I'm, and besides, it's Friday, and you're not drinking. There's no rush, right? Where are you going to?
Yeah.
You got all the time in the world.
Oh, tell me about it.
That's right. It's like
weekends are the longest 2 days ever.
Yeah.
I thought all this was leading up to Neil singing a song.
No. Can't do that.
All right. Well, let's take another break, and then we'll
think of something new.
Well, yeah, stick around.
Beautiful.
I mean, to hear a guy from the Sun Times break bad on Jay Mariotti like that, I think that was special. I don't think you should. I mean, I don't think you should overlook how special that was.
Yeah.
Because you don't normally hear that. That was very nice.
Was that negative? I guess it was.
Well, it seems like it was truthful. I mean, I worked with him, too, at WMVP, and he's just a miserable little jerk.
Yeah, it's his personality, not his work. I mean, the writing is just the typical garbage you expect in that, but as a person is really what...
No, his work is bad, too.
Oh, well, there it's a double play.
As a sports fan, I can tell you his work is bad. Inaccurate and bad.
Yeah, there we go.
So there you go. Yeah. But it's only 50 cents.
Well, and some people like it. It's not for us.
Yeah.
It's like the
I
astrology
don't know who likes
table.
it. I mean, I really don't know, but